Welcome everybody to the Cafe GG podcast. We're your host. I'm Giuseppe Davi,
And I'm Jack Moldavi.
and this is it's a normal podcast. We're going to be talking about movies, television, and our most recent project that we are working on. It's a film, Streets of Astoria, Part Two. We made
Yes, sir.
made a first one. How long ago?
2016 it premiered.
2016. So we're working on a
2016
sequel to that.
on the sequel, and it's we're excited about it. The first one we didn't really have a script planned out. We
We
would
were a lot
usually
younger when we did it.
yes, that too. But it would just be on the fly kind of things. And now we're for the second one we got a script planned out and all that. So it's going to be very nice. It's going to be definitely, in my opinion, our best project for sure.
So we're making this podcast, just to talk about things we like. And Jack, is there anything you wanted to start off with today?
Well, yeah, we're doing this now, especially during these times. We're living in a pandemic, so a lot of people are doing things like this. So we said, "What the hell? Jump on it!" And it's something nice to do. We both enjoy doing things like this, and it's a good opportunity. I like things like this.
We're very opinionated on things, so
Definitely.
us being able to talk about movies,
Yeah, talk about movies, things we
I
like,
think that'd be
shows, and see what there's going to be a lot of funny debates on here for sure. Definitely.
we'll also be having guests, family members, good
Throughout the,
friends,
yeah.
whoever we can get on. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, we're going to get people. We're also we're going to have our Instagram account. So you can like and follow and stay up to date with each podcast that comes out. We're going to probably do it weekly. So
Yeah, weekly.
just stay up to date with that.
All right. So to start off our first podcast, wanted to talk
First
about
episode, the pilot.
yes, our pilot. I wanted to talk about a very special man to our hearts, Mr. Martin Scorsese. So,
Mr. Marty.
Jack, can you give us your background with how who is Martin Scorsese to you?
Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese is a great. I was about to say actor, great director. Um, he's made a lot of movies that a lot of people enjoy, and his best movie, in my opinion, Shark Tale, hands down. My favorite. I mean,
Shark.
he's amazing in that. Amazing.
Yeah. His dad
By the
was
way, we're not sponsored, but
no. You're gonna see us drink different things throughout. I have the same Gatorade bottle.
Gatorade bottle.
Bottle. But mostly some
His
nice
favorite.
sparkling water.
His favorite.
Listen, sparkling water, you get this nice tingle, like you're drinking a soda, but
Yeah, sure. The bubbles, it helps with your stomach when you got agita or
yeah,
upset
exactly.
stomach.
It feels
I
it
enjoy
feels good.
nice
Feels good.
sparkling water. I enjoy sparkling water.
But anyways, yeah, Martin
Martin
Scorsese,
Scorsese.
Great director. I almost said actor too.
I know, yeah.
Great director. He's inspired me to become, want to become a movie maker myself.
Director, yeah.
The main genre of his films, mafia and stuff like that.
Mob related.
Very interesting topics to make films about that people don't talk about a lot. So he does good. Um, like his most recent one, The Irishman. I don't think there's been a movie
The
like that
Irishman,
in
yeah.
how long has there been a movie like that? A big, big screen movie like that.
Well, I feel like The Irishman, or not even The Irishman in general, just Martin Scorsese films, um, our parents are almost in their 50s, and they really grew up on when his films came out, Martin Scorsese films came out.
Yeah.
So a lot of kids in our generation, um, they I don't really think they know of him, of Mr. Martin Scorsese and his films and his works, and he doesn't really get the credit he deserves these days because there's a lot of there's like different
There's a
trends.
different.
It's different times.
Viewership. Viewership is not the same as it was
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
Kids these days, the stories they'll just be boring for them. Which I'm glad me and Jack, we grew up enjoying these type of things. We understand like the older age. We have that kind
Yeah,
of
we enjoy
mindset,
them.
which is which is hard to find in people nowadays.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, kids. I'm 19, and kids my age, they like to act a certain way, and I just really don't like that. And I really am proud of just being who I am and looking up to my father, my uncle, and grandfather. Anyone from the old school. Just try and
This
have that mindset because it's rare these days, and I'd be able to want to show my kids one day, the right way, how to live, how to think.
which is good because the kids these days it's all about partying, smoking. So that's why I'm happy. Me and Jack, unlike the other kids, we get to sit down, talk to each other. Like adults almost.
Hmm. For
And
sure.
definitely our grandfather's a good person to look up to.
Yeah,
Born in
definitely.
the good old Italia,
Good old that's he's the literal. If you look
pure
in a
blood.
dictionary, he's
The
the first photo
definition.
you'd see for the definition of a nono. So you know, definitely a great teacher to sit down and learn from him.
Which is good, which is good.
So yeah, so Martin Scorsese. So he's made a lot of films. Obviously, he's a nominated director.
Yeah, well, he was
He
just he was just nominated for best director for Irishman, right? Or Irishman was best picture.
I can't remember. I can't remember, but yeah, a lot of people you know, I mean, even if he were up to nomination of best director, this especially this year the Oscars, right? That was the Oscars
Yeah,
that Parasite and all that.
yeah, with Parasite.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I seen a couple commercials on the television, and that movie didn't interest me one bit. I still have not seen it, and I probably will not see it.
I'll be
Maybe
honest.
sometime in the future, but
I'll be honest. I watched it. It's a good film. It's a really good film. Just
I could imagine. I mean, they ran away with what, three, four awards?
I think it was up to seven, seven.
I
If
Wow,
I'm correct. If I'm correct, it was around seven.
yeah, because I definitely know for sure the director of Parasite, he won um, best
Best
director,
director. Yeah.
and Parasite won best picture. So you know, and even him, he was shouting out Martin Scorsese because Martin Scorsese was there, and he was shouting him out, and he gave him very high praise. So I think that's actually pretty cool to see someone like that who's obviously an older guy. He had to shout out one of the uh, one of the best to ever do it. So I thought that was a really cool moment throughout it. Each award he won, he um, always shouted out Martin Scorsese, and that's really really cool to see it these days.
That's what I hope to accomplish one day to make an impact in films that I get
To
shout out
make
by
Yeah,
different directors.
yeah. I mean, that's really cool. I mean, with anything you do, to have someone who I guess not grew up, but if they watched you from a distance and they've been seeing you for a long time and whatever you do, and they appreciate and are inspired by you,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. That's really cool.
What was your first Scorsese film? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
Well, I thought you knew, because we watched it. You showed me. It was Goodfellas.
Was it Goodfellas?
Goodfellas. Oh, actually, no, no. My first Scorsese. Well, no, he didn't direct Shark Tale.
No, he did not.
No, he did not. But that
He
was the
was-
first film. That was the first time I've
you
heard his
saw,
voice
yeah,
and heard of him. Yes,
Mr.
Shark Tale.
Mr. Robert
Him
De
and
Niro is in
and
that.
Robert
Yeah,
De Niro. Yeah, him, Robert De Niro, Michael Imperioli,
Michael and
Vincent Pastore, all in that movie. Funny movie, but definitely like not one of their best
the
films. But
should
not one
not
of
be
their
marked as their
awarded.
proudest
Yeah, I
moment.
don't know. I mean, it was supposed to be a funny
Oh yeah, it's
thing.
funny.
Will
Um,
Smith,
yeah,
I
Jack
believe
Black.
Renee, yeah, Jack Black, Renee Zellweger is
Jack,
in that.
yeah.
So that's pretty funny. But yeah, that was my first Scorsese experience, Shark Tale, because hearing his voice or whatever. And first film was Goodfellas. My cousin Giuseppe um, introduced me to it one day. He was like, "Hey, you want to watch this movie?" Because we were, um,
I think it was
I believe it
Thanksgiving,
was
right?
around. Yeah, it was a Thanksgiving, a holiday, one of the holidays, Thanksgiving
That was funny.
or Christmas, and
It,
yeah,
I
it was
remember it
funny.
was on the DVD, and it was on one of those DVDs that you have to. It was on. It's such a big movie that you have to flip the DVD over
Yeah,
because it's cut up in two parts. So like in the middle of the movie, it says please flip the DVD
please
to the
flip
other
the
side.
disc. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think Goodfellas was mine too, or no, yeah, I think Goodfellas, which is good. And Goodfellas on that topic, we will have a episode dedicated to the film Goodfellas later
Yeah.
on in our series.
We're gonna have a bunch of episodes dedicated to specific movie, and we're gonna um, break down the movie and just go deep on different ideas in the movies. Try and break down little things, little details. Try and you know basically be in the shoes of the director, the actors, and even the in the story, the characters. Goodfellas. Try and put ourselves in Henry Hill's shoes, or Ray Liotta's character. Try and put ourselves in their shoes. And try and think, like them. And there's that situations. What would you do? What do you think they did was good? Do you think it was a bad choice? Like all these different things. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah. So I think our first topic today, after Martin Scorsese, now we should lead into a more movie topic. And I was thinking, what should the first movie we talk about today be?
Well, that's what we were thinking of. You asked me if we should do Goodfellas, and I said,
Yeah, we should save that.
since it's regarded as one of the best mob movies of all time. Say that later on. Um, leave something good for later to make sure people come back, and we'll wait for that.
Yeah, that's
Um,
why I was thinking just now, maybe to since this is our pilot, maybe the first one since we are both I live in Florida, but I do go to Astoria a lot. Maybe we should talk about A Bronx Tale
New
today.
York. You know, I was actually thinking that we didn't even talk about which movie, and I was thinking of Bronx Seal because, um, yeah, because we grew up in Astoria, Queens, New York, and we were right by where Bronx Seal was filmed, here in New York. So, yeah, Bronx Seal would be a good start.
Your brother went to the school that was shot
I,
right
I
there.
went I
You went
went
there
to
too, right?
yeah, me and my sister, older sister, and my younger brother. We all three went to St. Joseph Catholic Academy. That's what it's called now. I believe when they were filming it, it was just St. Joseph's School, Catholic school, but now it's Academy, Catholic Academy. Great school, and it's really cool now to go in that area and just seeing how it is now. I mean, the movie came out what year? 95,
Uh,
1995, A Bronx Tale.
yeah, around there.
Yeah, Robert De Niro's first, uh,
Directorial debut. Yeah,
his debut. Uh, Honestly, not one of my favorite films. Um,
really.
a mob film. Um, but it's really cool to see how it is now. Like, the where they shot it
Yeah, where they
compared
shot it.
to then, and then compared to now, how it is. Like, it's very cool.
So just to bring everybody, if you haven't seen A Bronx Tale, basically the Bronx Tale is this story of this little boy who grows up in the Bronx. This movie is also based on a one-man show. Chaz Palminteri, he's in the movie, but this
He's
isn't
in the
based
movie.
on his life story.
His love story.
But the film uh, centers around Kolodro, a young boy growing up in the Bronx,
Hmm.
and how he's basically torn between having his father and then growing up in the eyes of this mob boss.
He idolizes Sonny, and yeah, he wants to grow up to him and his friends in the movie. You see all three of them like recreating whatever they're doing, so they're You got C pointing like
Yeah, Sonny's
Sonny,
signature
like
thing
Chaz,
when he's
with
talking,
the three fingers.
he talks like this the whole time. It's a nice little thing he does. But
Which is funny because that was the first time I've ever seen somebody in a movie do this. And then in the Sopranos TV series, Sopranos,
great
in
show.
my opinion, greatest TV series ever. Not
Yes.
biased, but I mean, people say that for a reason. But in the Sopranos, you got Tony Sirico's character, Paulie Walnuts, always does this when he's talking. Not so much that. Well, he does this sometimes too. It's mainly the always the pinky because he got the pinky
Yeah,
ring.
the pinky.
But we see him too go like that. But a Bronx Tale was the first time I seen someone with that.
And a Bronx Tale, see, to me, it is a top tier. Uh, we can say mob movie. But see,
That's yeah, that's
I
what
like
it
how
is.
it's a different type of mob movie. You've never seen this. This is the one movie I've seen where instead of centering on just the mob aspect, it centers on this boy trapped between two worlds.
Two
Growing up
worlds.
to be with his father. This the strong father figure he has in his life that tells him the worst thing in life is wasted talent, which is a really strong message in that film.
Yeah, I definitely try and live by that quote. Very nice quote.
And but so you see, to Colodro's dad, he thinks that being in the mob is trashy. Being it's that's
Yeah,
what
it's not the route he wants
wasted
for his
talent.
kid.
And Colodro's dad is a bus driver in the Bronx.
Lorenzo
Yeah,
is
Lorenzo.
his name.
Yeah, I forgot. I couldn't think of it. Sorry,
Okay.
Colodro's father. Um, and yeah, so then Colodro grows up hanging around Sonny a lot. And what I also like is that it centers around how Colodro falls in love with a girl of his not same culture.
When he grows older, yeah, he well, I just wanted to say before moving on to that, the reason why he grew up idolizing Sonny is because his apartment building is right next door to
Yes.
where the guys hung out, a bar on the corner. So they would always see the guys outside, inside. It's a funny part in the beginning of the movie where Kolojiro is walking up these stairs and there's like an open door for some reason looking into the bar. So literally anybody could just walk up those stairs and peek inside if they wanted to, which is kind of dumb now looking back on it. But he would sneak off sometimes. His parents would catch him and tell him not to, and he would end up just going back and he's just zoning out watching these guys. Just whatever they do, and that's why he grew up loving grew up loving it, and that's kind of what torn him apart because he grew up literally in the center of it in his neighborhood with these guys, and his father Lorenzo obviously doesn't want that, and he tries to steer him in a different path. So
The proper
basically,
direction.
yeah. So basically, that's what the entire movie is. But yeah, you were speaking about Colongelo's love interest, Jane. I forgot her last name, but
Yeah,
Jane,
Jane. And she is of African descent,
African
which
American.
which back then, to Italians, to the groups, it was very
It was
different
a lot
time.
of yeah,
A lot of
a lot of
racism, hard.
racism.
So seeing this young Italian boy date an African girl, it was just not right to them.
Well, now when is the movie? When does it take place again?
Uh,
50s, 60s?
1950s,
It's the
1950s.
fit. Yeah. So yeah, especially in that time, there's one scene where uh, the three guys, Colangelo and his two friends, they're hanging out outside, and you get to see one of the buses that C's father Lorenzo drives. I guess that day he wasn't working, off day or something like that, because you never see Robert De Niro inside the bus driving, but you see one African American boy sitting down and looking out the window, and one of C's friends points him out and says, "Oh, what are these people doing in our neighborhood? They shouldn't be here." And that's how life was back then. Unfortunately, people that live that way. And it's sad to say too. Even now, it's still
It's still
goes on
not.
in
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form. It's still happening now, but that's basically what happens. Their different cultures are not, that's not seen as right or normal.
Yeah, and that's why I enjoyed the film a lot because it does focus on that just that aspect of life, how people you're just breaking a norm, and it
Like a normal
shows
man.
and it's just this it's something you will never see in a movie again. It's one of those things that you
I
saw
can't think of
once.
another movie like that. Yeah, I
You've
can't think
seen
of
it
another movie.
once, and it has, and the movie has all these things a part of it. The mob, uh,
Yeah,
racial, profiles.
racism.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
racism.
father and son bonding. That's why to me it is a good film, and that's why I want to go into our next
It's a
thing.
good film. Yeah.
Why do you see it as your least favorite mob film?
Well, no, I wouldn't say my least favorite. My least favorite, um, I mean, I don't even know if it is regarded as
Untouchables.
The Untouchables.
That is my
Yes.
least favorite film.
After seeing it for the first time a month ago, yeah, that movie, I did not like that movie at all. And if it's apparently mob genre, yeah, you barely see Al Capone, aka Robert De
It's
Niro, in that
it's more
movie.
of a cop
This story, yeah, the story
FBI
revolves
drama,
around these four friends,
but everyone, yeah,
without getting into it. But yeah,
yeah,
it's just, I don't know. You can't even call it mob genre, but to have someone like Robert De Niro in a role uh, as Capone, in his
wasted
prime,
talent.
yeah, that yeah,
That is the
perfect,
wasted
perfect,
talent.
yeah. It was foreshadowing when that movie came out. That was definitely foreshadowing. But yeah, no, The Untouchables, yeah, no, that's definitely my least favorite. But
Back to it. What do you dislike
why
about
a Bronx Tale is one of my least favorite. I mean, I I don't know. I guess kind of for the same reason. I feel like in my opinion, I feel like it's too centered around racism and the main character Calogero trying to. I feel like the main plot is Calogero and this girl he likes, this girl he saw, and he really likes her, and he wants to be with her, but he knows that his family, his friends, and people that know him won't accept him or the relationship, which is, like you said, breaking out of the norm. I like that. Like in the end of the movie, he just goes out and he does what he wants, and him and this girl Jane, they get together. But you know, I mean, yeah, you see parts Chaz Palminteri and the other guys, but this story is more centered around this boy trying to get a girl. That's
it? Yeah,
basically why I don't, really like it. Like, it's not uncomparable to The Godfather, to, Goodfellas, to
just the normal, mob
the
movie.
norm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of blanked out. Don't really know each other off the top of my head. Other mob movies.
Gotti,
Yeah.
John Travolta.
Oh, I thought you meant 96, the better one.
See, I enjoyed the John Travolta Gotti over
We'll have an episode dedicated to that.
talking about
96 versus
96 versus 19
that was 2019,
or 17
20,
actually.
17 or 18. Yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't that
around there.
recent.
Yeah, forgot.
But yeah, we'll leave that for another day. So
And
yeah, that's why a Bronx still for me.
then one more question I have, just to
Well, now
spice
what
things
about
up.
you? How you have? Why do you have it pretty high up? Why do you have that?
Just because I like that, the breaking the norm. It's not something you see
Not
all
the
the time.
traditional mob movie. Yeah, yeah.
So
I
it's one
mean,
of those movies that I feel like a lot of people give mob movies crap for being just just the cursing, the violence. That's what people they disgrace mob movies. A lot of people do.
yeah, because they think it's the typical story.
Yeah, and that's why I
Criminals
like
that
this
go out
one
and do
because
things.
I think a lot of people can go into it and agree to what they are watching.
Getting a call there.
Yep, we got a minor interruption here. I'm back.
So
But
yeah,
anyways,
I agree with what you're saying. How it breaks the norm. But I don't know. I mean, like yeah, if we're talking about movies that break the norm, like yeah, Bronx Tale is definitely one of the better movies. But in terms of a mob movie, yeah, like
That's also, it reminds me of, now we can move on to the topic of out of the norm, mob side plot movies. It reminds me of Raging Bull,
yeah, I mean
and which Raging Bull definitely is not a mob
mob movie,
movie,
yeah, no.
but
I
it
mean
does have
it
that side
touches
plot.
upon it, yeah. It has that side plot. It touches upon that. But yeah, you can't compare Bronx Tale and Raging Bull
No,
because,
yeah,
you know,
very
Raging
true.
Bull is now without getting into it, Raging Bull, Robert De Niro's character, he's brothers with Joe
Joe
Pesci's
Pesci's
character,
yes,
right?
character, yes.
So that's why it brushes up, because Robert De Niro's character, uh, what was his name, the fighter?
Uh, Jack, Jack
No, I
something.
don't think
I have the Blu-ray right here. Wait,
the Blu-ray.
time to cut to the Blu-rays, which
I
just gonna give
forgot.
you a little detail of
Yeah,
old
yeah,
Giuseppe Davi.
yeah, yeah.
I
Give
do
him
have
the
a
detail.
very a very intense Blu-ray collection.
Questionable,
Not
intense,
questionable.
comma, questionable in all caps, comma,
Not
collection.
the way I love film, just collecting these HD films, which
Hmm.
is, Blu-ray is HD film, higher than what a DVD would be.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jack does not like that I
approve.
collect. He does
No,
not
no, no,
approve
no,
that
no,
I
no.
collect these.
It's not that I don't approve you collecting them. It's I mean the guy has one VHS and two
Wow. Oh,
DVD
wow. So we're bringing up the
of
Goodfellas already.
Goodfellas.
We're bringing up the
Three versions of
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, yes.
We are bringing up. Okay, so we have
And if
here
you want to talk about the Jake LaManna, Jake,
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 not
Jake
Jack.
LaManna, Jake LaManna or LaManna,
Jake LaMotta.
LaManna, yeah,
I think
Jake
so.
LaManna, not Jack.
As you could tell, me and Jack have not watched this film in a very long time.
Yeah, no, it's been uh
I think the
oh
last time we
yeah, I
watched
think
it was 2 years ago.
the no, I watched it well together, but
Oh,
I
together,
watched it
yes. I don't know when
myself.
you
I've
watched it.
watched it. I think it's been a year since I last seen it, which is
Probably, I think likewise, a year. But yes,
so yeah, definitely Raging Bull, not
throughout the podcast, I will be showing off my immense Blu-ray collection. Bring it up.
naturally, of course, sure, why not? But yeah, Raging Bull not comparable with Bronx Tale in terms of what it's supposed to be. But that's why Raging Bull touches upon uh, the mob because of the main character's brother being in the mob. Uh, so yeah, that's what that is.
And then and you have a lot of mob movies like that. Well, not mob movies. You got a lot of movies with mob aspects in them.
And yeah,
Like
mm-hmm,
you get this much, like Jersey Boys, the story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Um,
mm-hmm.
we have a little bit of that. Gyp DeCarlo,
Yeah, Chip DeCarlo, and then you have Tommy, I forget
Tommy
DeVito,
DeVito, Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito. He seemed more enthusiastic about it than the other three guys. He really, enjoyed. He tried the hardest to
He was
be,
in. He was very into that
really,
hustle life.
yeah. And um, well, I was gonna say that led to his downfall, but not really. I mean, if you've
He just got
seen the
caught.
movie, he just got
He
caught
gets
up. Yeah,
caught up in
gets caught
uh,
up. So yeah,
which
that's what that leads into.
yeah,
But yeah, that's another movie. Good movie, Jersey
great.
Boys.
I
I enjoyed it.
Great film. I think Jersey Boys is a great. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? It's on. It, people don't watch it a lot. People don't know it a lot.
A movie, yeah.
Um, which okay. So let's go back to A Bronx Tale, which our main topic. Um, A Bronx Tale did span out. Chaz Palminteri turned it into a Broadway musical,
Yeah, he did really well with that.
which yes, surprisingly, and that's what I'm very happy with. It brought A Bronx Tale to a new generation of people, new area folks, theater folks.
Yeah, theater people that enjoy that.
And Jack didn't never got to see it on Broadway.
No, no. I
Uh,
only been to the city for a live performance once,
hmm.
just once. I'm not a
What
theater
was
person.
what was that
Well, no,
live?
it's not that I'm. Wait, before you
Yeah,
I
sorry,
don't know
sorry,
what you were
sorry.
gonna say. I was just gonna say I'm not. Not that I'm not a theater person. I would enjoy going to the theater, but I just I wouldn't bring it up like, hey guys, let's go to Broadway. Let's go watch a Broadway play. Like, I wouldn't do that. But if someone brought it up, it'd be like, you know what? Yeah, go to the city, have a good time, watch
Well,
something
your
cool.
type of, because I know you like more serious things, so that's why you enjoy movies more than you would enjoy Broadway. But that's
Yeah.
why the only Broadway shows I've seen three. Three, I'm pretty sure. Yes. And what was the first? I want to hear
Yeah.
your. I want you to
My first
let everyone
experience.
know what your first Broadway experience
First Broadway
was
experience
with me
was
and our other cousin.
yes, it was a family trip.
So what, Jack?
It was, I believe the full name is Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
Yes, that is it.
Yep.
So as you
Um,
can see, that was not a very good introduction to Jack's theater life.
well, I mean, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. Um, it's not like it had an influence on me to be like, oh, just because I saw this and it's Spider-Man, like now I'm not gonna
No,
go
yeah.
watch. Um, it was nice. It was nice. I enjoyed it.
It was a very cool show. You had Spider-Man swinging through the theater right above
Yeah,
you.
swinging across. Yeah, that
I
was
got a high five from
pretty
Spider-Man. We were in the top
cool.
balcony.
Yeah, we were pretty high up. Yeah,
I think
I
we were in the
remember.
top balcony, and he
Yeah.
swings up like the stage is all the way down there, and he
Yeah,
up.
it's kind of like an incline. So
Mhm.
you had the stage down here, and then you'd have him swinging up like that
And then he swung up to
into
the
the crowd.
balcony, and I'm sitting, in the aisle, and
In
Spider-Man
the aisle, and he came
comes
and
up, and I'm just like,
got you a nice high
Spidey,
five.
Spidey over here, and he's just that's the proudest moment. But then my second
Well,
Broadway show.
let me ask you now.
Yes, sorry.
Did your spider senses tingle when he touched you?
Yes, sir. Yes, they sir. Yes, they sir. Yes, they did, sir. Spider
Yeah,
senses. That brings
spidey senses.
my second Broadway show. No, I've seen four, but that's the second thing. My second Broadway show was Jersey Boys, which, as we were just talking about the movie,
Comparison, yeah.
which basically, if you saw Jersey Boys the musical, you don't need to see the movie. It's
No
it's literally Jersey Boys the musical and the movie, same script, same everything, just less musical moments. Like in the musical, they lead into
movie,
the
it's
songs,
yeah.
and in the
In the movie,
movie,
it's
it's
less.
paced throughout time when the songs
Well, there
release.
isn't really a yeah when the songs are released, but there aren't really like they break out into
No, no, no.
singing.
It's more like
It's
when they're
nothing
writing
like
the
that.
songs and then them singing
Yeah,
like on stage and stuff.
yeah,
That's what it
just
is.
singing. It's just not like a typical, like a musical movie.
No, yeah, yeah. And then technically the third one I saw was The Lion King, but that's not important to us right now at all. I don't know. Which Jack, actually, I do want to say quick opinions on the live action remake of The Lion King. Shoot.
Disney's smart for remaking movies that we've already seen plenty of times. Nothing is different. So I will not be watching or spending my money on watching or rewatching movies I've seen already. Please and thank you.
The Lion King was my least favorite one. Aladdin, okay. Anyways, my fourth my fourth um Broadway show
Broadway.
was Bronx Tale, and that was the last one I've seen. And now, it's really upsetting though. With this pandemic, all Broadway shut down, movie theaters are shut down.
Well, yeah, I mean, they gotta.
But yeah, and it just sucks. AMC theaters are now starting to close permanently.
Oh, permanently? Why permanently?
Bankruptcy, more or less. Because
Well, I
they're
mean, naturally. I mean,
AMC's are the highest costing movie theaters in the world.
oh, like the tickets are expensive.
No, like to run them, to like do stuff like
Let's
that.
run them.
Yeah, AMC's the highest.
Well, I mean, I guess that you could say that about any movie theaters because, um, now with technology on the phones, if I want to see a movie, I gotta just pick up my phone,
Yeah, pick up your phone and watch.
wait for it to come out, pay for it one time. I
That's
get to
why
watch the movie
the
whenever I
one
want.
thing I did not like about The Irishman that it was released on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
I really
Well,
wish,
I mean, we could have gone to the movies, but we
but
just couldn't.
but see, it
No,
wasn't.
we couldn't because we wanted to see it together.
And yes, and since I live in Florida, he's in Astoria. Um, but see, the thing is, it wasn't available to everyone. You couldn't just go to your local
Yeah,
theater and
you
watch it.
couldn't go. No, you
You
had
had
to
to
go to
go
a
to the
specific one.
Yeah, the AMC, 2 hours away from you or something like that.
Yeah. And here in New York, they would only have the theaters in the city.
Yeah, in Times Square, right? That's
So
where we. Yeah,
I don't remember, but in the city for sure, I remember.
and that's why I feel like that film Irishman would have been a great movie to
Film
see in
to
theaters. Yes,
yeah,
because
and
it is shot beautifully. I think Martin Scorsese
yeah,
did a
so
really good
nice.
job filming that. Um, so what is your from so what would you say is your least favorite Martin Scorsese film? I know we're jumping from
I haven't
topic to
seen.
topic,
No, yeah, we're gonna
but
go
from the
back
ones
to
from the
Bronx
ones
stuff.
you've seen,
I've seen Goodfellas. I've seen
I think you've seen majority of them.
Goodfellas, Raging Bull, Casino,
Wolf.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Did you say Raging Bull?
Yeah, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street, Casino.
God, we've seen Taxi Driver. Oh, you haven't finished
I
Taxi
didn't
Driver,
finish Taxi Driver. I didn't watch King of Comedy.
which
I
was
didn't watch The Departed. Is that what it's called? The
Departed.
Departed.
Yes,
I
Leonardo
didn't see
DiCaprio,
that.
Jack Nicholson.
So yeah, out of the four, I would
Yeah, out of
say my
those four.
favorite Goodfellas first, Goodfellas, Casino, Wolf, Raging Bull. That's my four out of the four that I've seen
For me,
from
I've almost seen every Martin Scorsese film. No, I have seen every Martin Scorsese film actually.
Main Streets.
Mean Streets I've seen,
I didn't see that yet.
but I watched that a long time ago. I have not been able to rewatch that.
Yeah, that
Um,
came out 73, 2 years after my father was born.
yeah,
That's 1 year after yours. So, that's pretty cool. A movie that long ago.
and yeah, no, that is cool. 70, yeah. Um,
73.
there's too many movies to name right off the bat. I'll give you my top three: King of Comedy, Goodfellas, Casino. Maybe I could do five, cause then it would go Wolf, and then Raging Bull, Raging Bull. Because
So you
no,
have King of Comedy.
in
Wait,
first
what?
place, first place.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, that he made that movie Hugo that I never watched.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I
That's
never
right.
watched that
Hugo.
movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, King of Comedy is my number one Scorsese film. Mob film, Goodfellas is number one. Scorsese
Scorsese mom, definitely Goodfellas.
but for me, King of Comedy, that's such an incredible film. The way Rob De Niro, you can just see him just lose his mind, and it's. If you've seen the Joker, if you have seen the Joker, you will
It's
enjoy King
kind
of
of
Comedy.
yeah,
Joker was actually loosely based off of, or inspired, not based off of. It was inspired by
inspired by
King of
King
Comedy.
of Comedy. So yeah, I'm definitely going to take a look
Oh yeah.
at that King of Comedy. Try and watch that. So yeah, back to a Bronx Tale.
Back
So
to Toronto.
yeah, definitely one of the better movies that the main plot of it isn't solely mob based, but since it touches up on since the main characters it touches up upon it. I mean, yeah, not really my favorite mob, but definitely a good movie. Definitely a good movie. I enjoyed it.
I like. There's the one scene, and it shows how Colodro first really gets inducted into this life. Not inducted, but introduced more. When there's this car crash in front of Colodro's
Well, that's
apartment.
like not really an intro. We don't because apparently from where the story begins, he's already known
But
them. He's
but
already known
this
them. But
is but this is Sonny's
yeah, the
first.
first like real experience
Yes.
and showing the real um the real situation of like what happens sometimes happens in that life
Yeah.
is the car scene, the guy parking.
He parks, according to Colodro, he parked in some guy's parking spot.
One guy was trying to get into a parking spot and another guy
Yeah, it was a
who
fight over, yeah.
a fight over a parking space and
And then the one guy jumps out of his car with a baseball bat, starts bashing on the guy's car. And Sonny being the boss that he is, walks up to the guy and shoots him.
and shoots the guy hitting the other guy. So the other guy who's getting the windshield beaten, I didn't even know at first that that was Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci makes
That is
at
the Joe Pesci
first
cameo.
that's his first cameo in the movie, because if you've seen the movie, at the end of the movie,
That's when,
Joe Pesci comes back and he's like, "Oh, I was in jail, but now I'm back." And
which as of
you
right
know,
now, I'm gonna give a spoiler alert. I'm gonna do a spoiler alert because I'm
spoiler, it came out in '95. If you didn't
yeah,
see it,
but
go
some
fuck
people,
yourself.
they want to watch it. Wow, some people want to watch it, but no. Okay, spoiler alert here for the end of the movie. Sonny does end up dying. He gets shot by some idiot, and then
someone,
yeah.
someone got paid to do
Oh
it.
no no no, it was
Oh no, no, it was the
it
guy
was
that died, whose son he shot. That's the son. Right, right.
yes, it was the
I
son
can't
of the
believe I
guy that
forgot that.
Sonny shot.
I watched it recently too. Yeah, so
And so then
the
at the
guy
end,
that,
at Sonny's funeral, it's just Colodro looking over Sonny's casket, and
yeah,
that's when you see
Joe
Joe
Pesci
Pesci come up
coming,
from
yeah,
the back, and he introduces himself. He says, "Hey kid,
who is
I'm the one. I'm the one that Sonny saved all those years."
because he has a scar
The
on his
scar.
forehead, and he says, "Remember me?" And he points, and he's like, and then sees like, "Oh yeah, I remember you were the guy who was fighting,
hmm
who
And
got into
then
the fight."
so that's Joe Pesci's.
Little cameo, yeah.
Yeah. And Sonny's life ends so abruptly too. It's very unexpected.
No, yeah, I actually didn't. I mean, it just sucks. If you try and put yourself in C's shoes, like he literally spots this guy, and there's nothing he could do because the bar, the hangout, um, basically how the scene happens is there's a bunch of people inside the bar. I forget why, but there's a lot of people packed into the
Oh,
bar
it was a
in the back.
celebration. They just did
It
something.
was a celebration, something I forget, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of people, and C is going back to.
Wait, we got to give them context because C basically C's friends.
No, I was just gonna say that. Yeah,
Oh, you were gonna get to that. Do you want to keep going?
yeah, yeah. Basically, C's going. He was with his friends. Well, okay, no, no. He was going to go on the date with Jane. He was going to
Jane.
go on
Yeah.
a date with Jane, and there was this big fight before where um, uh, her brother, Jane has a brother,
hmm
and Jane's brother and his friends were riding their bikes throughout Colodro's neighborhood. So Colodro's friends went to beat up, the African American kids, and Colodro didn't like that obviously because, well, one, he liked the girl Jane and she was black, and um, he wanted to protect them. So uh, it's ironic, but Jane's brother was knocked down by one of C's friends, and so C's friend says, come here, come here, to C. And C goes over and he's like, and his friend is C's friend's telling him to, beat the kid up. So then Colodro's just like holding the kid down. He says, don't do nothing. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. And so, and then it's a pretty funny line. His friend is like, oh, what are you doing? Dancing with him? I'm pretty sure he's like, what are you doing? Dancing with him? And he like pulls C away and he starts beating the kid up. And then apparently the cops are called and everyone runs away. So basically in a later scene when C and Jane are going to go on a date, her brother comes out of the car. Well, Jane confronts him first. Jane's like, oh, my brother got beat up by some Italian kids in your neighborhood, blah blah blah.
Was it
And
you? Was it
yeah,
you?
she's like, was it you? Did you do it? And C was like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. So then her brother comes with a bandage on his forehead. You see him beat up. And he's like, yeah, that's the kid that did it. That he beat me up. So C is like shocked, like, I was helping you. What the hell's going on? What is this? And and then he ends up saying the N word to Jane's brother,
Jane's brother, and
which
Jane's
then
like, get out of
Jane
here.
then Jane's like, wow, like I thought you were different, but you know, I guess not. I was wrong. So then, um, so yeah, so they leave on the sour note. C screws up, and I don't remember, but I think C is walking back
She's very
home.
upset,
He's upset. He's walking back home,
and then that's when basically his friends pick him up
His friends
because
drive by, pick him up.
they're like, "Yo, we're going to go torch this place," blah blah blah. But right before anything could happen, Sonny comes by and he tells C, "Get out of the car, get out of the car,"
Yeah, C gets in
because
the car and he's with them,
and because
and they have
earlier in the
Molotovs.
scene when they first went on the date, him and Jane,
Well,
um,
they didn't get to the
they
date.
didn't get to, but they did
They
get
didn't
in the
get to the
car. They
date.
got in the car, and so
Sonny's car.
that's yeah, Sonny's car. Sonny let him borrow the
Sonny
car.
lends C's car.
And when he's doing that, one of the most famous lines in the movie, the door
The
test,
door test. The
and it's
door
basically
test.
if the girl
If you
you
lock
only
both
get
doors,
you
you
only
let
get
the
one
girl.
great one in your life.
You get a great one.
You get three good ones, one great one, and basically your great one. If you're in the car, you lock both doors. If the girl you open the door for the girl and the girl gets in, and if she leans over and unlocks your door for you, she passes the
She's a
door
great one.
test and
Yeah,
she's one of the great ones.
she's one of the great ones. Which I don't really know if I personally would use that test. I mean, what do you think? Would you use that?
Nowadays, I don't think you can.
Well,
Well, I mean,
you
okay,
could still
depending
do
on
it.
cars, yeah, I guess
You
so.
could still do it.
Um,
You know,
I
because you
if
could
she was
still lock
raised,
both doors, and well, I don't know. With cars today, actually, yeah, I don't think so because I believe if you lock both of them, you open if you open one door and you have the
all of
key
them
in
will
your
unlock. Yeah,
pocket,
all of
all of
them
the
will unlock.
doors will unlock. So
But
yeah, I don't think you
either way, it's not a valid, it's not a
no,
valid
no, not really because I don't think
form.
people would
If you
reach over and
if the girl no, but also if the girl was raised right, she would just unlock it herself, for you.
the,
It's a guy would do the same for a
oh, if she
girl.
sees the button, sure,
Yeah,
yeah,
a guy would do the same for a girl, and the girl, if they're both raised right, they're
they would feel the common courtesy to
yeah, it's common
do that.
courtesy. So then
So
that's why
yeah,
I don't. But
yeah,
anyways, so they get in the car. So then after that,
Sonny is in a car behind him, pulls him over,
pulls
tells C to get
Colodro get
out.
out, and he's like, and then he basically pins Colodro to the wall, and he's
And he
like,
brings him, he drives him. Yeah, no, does that happen? Oh no, no, no. You know what? No, they something happens in between when Jane, when C says the N word to Jane and her brother. Something's going on in between that, and then I forget. But basically, what happens is, Sonny lends the car.
mm-hmm,
He goes to he goes to pick her up. No, yeah, he did go to pick her up at first. He says the N word because he has Sonny's car. He goes after that incident. He goes back to the hangout to the bar where Sonny is with all his friends.
mm-hmm.
Sonny C leaves the car. He gets out and he tells Sonny, because Sonny asked C, how did it go? Did she pass the door test? And C's
Yes,
like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. He's very upset. And he just leaves, walks to
he
his
leaves
house.
Sonny,
He leaves Sonny
and
and his
that's when
friends and walks to his home abruptly because he's very upset and he doesn't want to talk about nothing.
and then that's
Well,
when his
the
friends
later
pick
scene,
him
yeah,
up,
that's when his friends pick him up.
and then once they're driving, they show off that they have Molotovs because
Yeah,
they're gonna go bomb
Molotovs. They want
where
to go
Jane lives. It's
blow this up
uh
like a
Wilson
record.
Avenue. No, it starts with a W. W. Uh,
I don't remember.
on God, I can't think of it. I think it's Wilson. Webster.
Oop,
Webster Avenue. Webster Avenue. He
Webster.
lives on Webster Avenue, and you know, basically back then the streets were sectioned off as this different areas. So where Colodro lived, that's Belmont Avenue, and where she lives is Webster. And there's this record store where they all hang out. That's in Webster. That's their
That's where,
spot.
yeah, the African
So
Americans
basically,
would hang.
the Belmont kids, they're gonna go over there and bomb the record store.
They want to torch it up with the
Yes.
Molotovs.
And so then, but right before they get over there, Sonny
Sonny,
pulls them over, picks Colodro up, and that's when he says he
get out of the
basically,
car.
yeah, he gets out of the car, and then that's when he takes him across somewhere. He drives him, and then he pins
They
him up
go
to a
back
wall.
to the bar. They go
Yes,
back to the bar.
and he pins him up to the wall, and he's like, "Did
Yeah.
you do it?
He
Did you?"
smacks him and he puts him against it. He says, "Where did you go with my car?"
hmm And then basically the context is someone was trying to kill Sonny. Someone put a bomb in
A
Sonny's
bomb or
car.
something, and
It failed
where
too.
the engine is.
Yeah, and it failed.
It didn't go off.
So, but Sonny found it, and since obviously Colodro was the last one that he
And he was the
saw,
guy that, yeah, the guy that
and
drove the car, and the
Colodro,
way he left too.
yeah, the way he
When he
left, he
just
was
ran
upset.
off, Sonny thought that
So
he
Sonny
was
obviously put
guilt
that
or
in check.
scared. So yeah, Sonny, who he is, the life he lives, he immediately thought, this kid, someone maybe gave him money, and the kid thinks, you know, a couple thousand is a lot for someone his age, and he wanted to make a quick buck and you know do this thing, betray someone he knew for a lot of years,
Hmm.
and that wasn't the case, which is why you see, when Sonny's yelling at him, he's like, oh, why would you think this? I don't want to hurt you. I love you. You're like a father to me. Why would I want to hurt you? And then which actually, with Sonny not even trusting this innocent boy who he basically
He
raised, with
raised.
street knowledge. You know, in an earlier scene, they go to a restaurant, and C's asking him questions, and C's like, you know, is better to be loved or feared? And Sonny said, when I agree with him, that fear lasts longer than love. If you're feared, people will give you their respect because they obviously don't want you to hurt them. They don't want you, if they see you doing something, uh, beating up someone, they obviously are going to respect you because, that's just how that goes. And, so yeah, so kind of that, it's funny how they bring that up, and Sonny also says, oh, I can't trust people. I can't trust people. I can't trust no one. It's, I only trust myself, and sees like, oh, that's a horrible way to live. And, he's true. Yeah. I mean, especially me personally, like growing up, I learned quickly early on not to trust everyone, that, you don't, the trusting friends is, not something you should do unless it's someone that you've known for a long time, or you're very comfortable, or, whatever the relationship is. And, you know, so that definitely applies with me. I mean, I definitely trust family. I'm a strong believer that family is the only people you can trust. That's just the way it is. Friends come and go, but family is forever, because it's different bond, different, completely different. And so yeah, so that earlier scene, see it later on, Sonny literally speak out what he told C. I don't trust no one.
And that's
And
where it leads into then Sonny,
then C walks off
and
after
then
Sonny punches him and stuff.
after all that, you find out later that well, you watch Colodro's friends drive up to the record store, and they're throwing the Molotovs, and a
Well,
guy in there throws it back, and it lands in the car, and then
into the car, and they had extra
they
Molotov.
catch on fire. They have the extra Molotovs, and then the car explodes. And then Colodro finds out, that basically, even though him and Sonny got in that argument, Sonny saved his life. So that's where Colodro he runs back to the bar.
He wants to run back and tell Sonny what happened.
He wants to thank him, and he wants to
He wants to
apologize for
thank
what
him and tell
happened.
him what happened.
And then that's when Sonny's calling him over. Colodro starts walking, and then you see this guy walk up behind Sonny, and boom.
Yeah, and in that moment, it's like Sonny, C is the only person that spots this guy out. There's,
The million people in the crowd.
yeah, there's a bunch of people in there, and Sonny is happy to see C, so he's saying, "Oh, let my boy through, let my boy through," which is, and it's also interesting that he refers to him as my boy, let my boy come through,
And
which
then
really shows the bond. And then um, unfortunately, the son of the kid that Sonny shot, or the father of the you know, who he was in the parking incident earlier, who Sonny shot, that C, watched him shoot the guy. The son of the guy that got shot, is going to get revenge on Sonny. So he walks through the crowd and really, like just a crazy scene. To even to put in your, if you put yourself in C's shoes, if they locked eyes seeing the kid, the guy's son,
Yeah.
and as soon as he goes up to Sonny, he's like staring at C, and he, you know, pulls the trigger on Sonny, and Sonny goes down right away. So it's pretty crazy to literally see the angel of death walk up to someone that you love, and that unfortunate, but that's what happens.
And I think that's why A Bronx Tale is one of my, it's up there with one of my top films. It
Yeah,
just
a lot of meaning,
there's a lot of meanings to it.
a lot of meanings. I like that. Yeah, a lot of life lessons.
Hmm. Good
Uh,
life lessons.
Definitely a Bronx Tale for life lessons in movies. Definitely a Bronx Tale, the
Oh yeah.
best. Definitely a Bronx Tale because there's just a bunch of life lessons that you can apply in your own life, which I have. Wasted talent.
Which is good because everyone's growing every day. Still growing.
Yeah, you learn. A lot of kids my age, especially my sister who turned 20 in January. She likes to. Well, it's natural. You're 20, 19, I'm 19. You want to. You feel like an adult. You drive. You feel a sense of independency, but the reality is, I'm still living under my father's roof. You know, most of my things are not most, but I would say 50-50 of the things I own are, uh, you know, I bought, but, food and, house, car, that's, uh, that's just, how it is. You want to act like an adult, but you're doing all this, and then on top of that, you got mommy and daddy doing everything for you still. So it's funny, like you're not truly an adult just yet, which is fine. I still refer to myself as a kid, and I actually enjoy that. I mean, I don't want to. If you say you're an adult or so much of an adult, and you're living
You'll
a
just throw
certain way, you're
you'll throw
just
your whole, happiness and meaning for
that too. Yeah,
enjoyment, and you'll
yeah.
just be at this working upper class, which is good. But if
No,
you're
yeah, good,
young,
definitely.
if you're a younger
It's
person,
smart to be young and work, definitely,
yes,
because
that
you save up. You
which
save up for the
sucks.
future.
That's why this pandemic sucks.
Yeah,
Luckily, everything's almost starting to open up again. Thing
yeah.
here and there.
This is being filmed the 24th of May, and
This is month 3 of isolation.
yeah, of quarantine. We've been
Yeah.
in this for a while. You know, you can't complain. You got to do what you got to do. Try and slow this shit down, and um, you
Because who
know,
knows? If you take this back to the earlier pandemics that have happened in America, some of them lasted more than months.
oh yeah, yeah.
More
I
than
mean,
months.
this is just the first wave. People
Yeah.
are
Second
saying
wave is
there's going to
starting.
be, there could be a second wave.
Hmm.
There could be. Hopefully not, but
We
you know,
really are living in Jumanji right now.
Jumanji.
The
Why
killer
Jumanji?
wasps,
Oh god.
bats causing the corona.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't try bat soup, but
Really? Heard it's good.
well, I mean,
Which that's why, everybody, just a fair warning. We will have some political episodes when we guest star Salvatore Davi into the
that's why I was political.
when we
Thought we
introduce
were gonna
Salvatore
talk about
Davi, a lot
movies.
of these episodes will get political,
Oh yeah.
and he's our educated speaker that we will have. He's our very
Well,
educated
I
speaker,
mean, I wouldn't say educated. He's just, more involved with politics, and
and the media
he
and all
likes to
that.
keep up. He's 15 years old, and um, the first time I haven't voted yet, but I am. Whenever the elections, uh, presidential elections pop up, I'm, voting basically whatever whoever he tells me to vote, and he's, disclaimer, he's a Trump supporter, so.
Yes, so If you see guest starring Sal and you get triggered very easily, you might not want to watch the episode. But I think that's a wrap for today's episode.
Yeah, yeah,
If you liked, please tune back. We'll start up a schedule soon. For more updates, follow us on our Instagram.
yep. We're gonna have Instagram. We're both gonna have control of it, and we're just gonna post different things, ideas, topics,
We'll love feedback from
what you
you
want us
guys.
to do. Yeah, please, send feedback. Obviously this is gonna be to a smaller audience in the beginning, but hopefully with
We can
people's
expand.
help, we can expand. And I think people would enjoy seeing a podcast too. Two kids, growing up in a pandemic. They enjoy movies, and we'll talk about a lot of things,
A lot of
movie,
things. Later on,
life.
so we will
You
be,
know,
a lot of the topics will be, mob movies, Martin Scorsese
yeah, we're
movies.
gonna start off
It is
with
our specialty. We'll have a couple episodes dedicated to when we are making our film, Streets of
yeah,
Astoria 2.
the second film, Streets of Astoria too.
Um, and that's that's mainly it. So, we'll also have segments on The Sopranos. Just to bring up right now. That is another segments that we will have later on. So if you're a fan of The Sopranos, please tune into those
Yeah,
when that starts up. But
yeah. We definitely don't want anyone to think we're copying, anyone else. I know there's a bunch of
uh, The Sopranos
people.
cast.
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing podcasts on everything,
No,
Sopranos.
this was an idea me and Jack have been having for a long time.
Yeah,
We just never had the equipment, but now, we've realized
yeah.
we
I
have the
mean,
equipment,
yeah,
and
we have the
now's the
things,
perfect
and
time
now's the
during this
perfect time.
quarantine.
Yep, yep. We're
So
inside, so why not?
follow us at first follow our movie account, please. It's at Streets of Astoria on Instagram
Instagram.
and also on Twitter. And then our Instagram at should be for the podcast Cafe GG Podcast. And yeah, so thank you for listening. Please make sure to share this podcast if you will.
Please share. Yep, greatly appreciated. We just want to expand and you know voice out our opinions and mix with whatever topics.
And when you guys give us feedbacks, we will include those feedbacks into our podcast. So please, if you want to see yourself, your opinions also
Your
shared
opinion,
throughout
yeah.
here.
If you want us to show
Uh,
your opinion, yeah, please.
and don't forget, this will be on iTunes Podcasts, Spotify, and on our YouTube channel.
Yep,
So please go and
check
share.
those out.
All right. So thank you for watching or listening.
Thank you for watching and listening, and please tune in, stay up to date, and stay safe. God bless.
Stay safe. All right. Good night.
All right, my brother.
Ciao.
Good night.